Hey, it's Luna Lopez, and if you'd told me a year ago I'd be sharing this story with you, I'd have laughed. But here I am, heart still racing from the moment my world flipped upside down. Picture this. I'm sitting in Paul Brooks' office at SecureNet Solutions, right here in Atlanta, Georgia, staring at a termination letter he's just slid across his polished mahogany desk. "We're reorganizing the territory," he says, eyes fixed on his coffee mug like it's the most fascinating thing in the room. "Your position's being eliminated, Luna." My stomach drops. The ink's barely dry on the $2 million cybersecurity deal I just closed with Apex Technologies, the biggest win of my 12-year career. And now, 2 weeks before my commission, money I desperately need, Paul's pulling the rug out from under me. I'm 38, a senior sales executive who's spent over a decade clawing my way up in this cutthroat industry. I grew up in a working-class Atlanta neighborhood, raised by a mechanic dad who taught me that hard work and loyalty were everything. He'd spend hours under the hood of a car, grease on his hands, telling me, in business, you give your all, and it comes back to you. After he passed from a heart attack when I was 25, I threw myself into my career, partly to honor him, partly to support my younger sister, Mia, who's now in college studying nursing. That commission wasn't just a paycheck, it was Mia's tuition, my mortgage, our stability. Paul knew this. Just last month, over drinks at a team happy hour, he'd clapped me on the shoulder, grinning. "Luna, you're killing it with Apex. This deal's your legacy." Legacy? Apparently, my legacy was expendable. I force a steady voice, though my chest feels like it's caving in. "I understand, Paul. Thanks for the opportunity." He doesn't look up, just nods, and I'm dismissed. As I walk back to my desk, the open-plan office feels like a stage. Phones ring, keyboards clack, but all I hear is the blood rushing in my ears. I've given SecureNet 5 years, late nights, red-eye flights, 47 pitch decks tailored for Apex alone. 9 months of my life went into that deal, building trust with their CEO, David Carter, over coffee chats and shared stories about our southern roots. And now? It's like none of it mattered. I start packing my desk, shoving sales awards and a photo of Mia at her high school graduation into a cardboard box. My coworkers' glances sting, some pitying, some relieved it's not them. Laura Bennett, our accountant and a single mom who gets what it's like to grind for every dollar, pauses by my desk. "Luna, this is wrong," she whispers, her eyes soft. "Everyone knows you carried that deal." I manage a smile, but it feels like a grimace. "It's just business, right?" I say, echoing the corporate line I've heard too many times. But it's not just business. It's personal. And as I carry my box to the elevator, I make a promise to myself. This isn't the end. Not by a long shot. As the elevator doors close, I lean against the wall, the cardboard box in my arms feeling heavier than it should. 5 years at SecureNet Solutions, gone in a 10-minute meeting. My mind replays Paul's words, reorganization, eliminated, and each one cuts deeper. I'm not just angry, I'm humiliated. I poured my soul into that Apex deal, flying to Savannah 9 times, sitting through 38 negotiation rounds, crafting proposals until 2 a.m. while Mia slept on my couch during her college breaks. I'd promised her I'd cover her tuition so she could focus on becoming a nurse, just like Dad always wanted us to chase our dreams. That commission was our lifeline, and Paul knew it. His fake smile at last month's happy hour, toasting my game-changing deal, now feels like a slap in the face. Back at my desk earlier, I'd caught the whispers. My colleague Edward Porter, who's been at SecureNet as long as I have, had warned me over lunch a few weeks ago. "They're phasing out the veterans," he'd said, picking at his sandwich. "New CEO, Richard Hayes, is all about cutting costs. Paul's his hatchet man." I'd brushed it off. My numbers were untouchable, $3.8 million in new business last year alone, plaques lining my cubicle. I thought I was safe. But as I pack my stapler and a worn notebook filled with client notes, I realize I was naive. SecureNet's changing, and loyalty doesn't mean what it used to. Walking to my car in the Atlanta heat, I feel the weight of every choice I've made. After Dad died, I swore I'd make him proud, building a career from scratch in a city where tech is king but trust is scarce. I started at SecureNet as a junior rep, turning small accounts into major wins through sheer grit. Apex was my pinnacle, a deal that took months of late-night calls with David Carter, their CEO. We'd laugh about Georgia summers and swap stories about family. He's got 2 kids in high school, and I'd share how Mia's nursing program is her ticket out of our old neighborhood. That bond wasn't just business, it was real. And now, Paul's betrayal feels like he's stolen more than my commission. He's taken my pride, my security, my promise to Mia. I slide into my car, the leather seat hot against my back, and stare at the SecureNet building, its glass facade gleaming like it's mocking me. My phone buzzes, a text from David. Dinner still on for Thursday to celebrate the Apex deal? My heart lifts, just a fraction. David doesn't know I've been fired. He doesn't know Paul timed this perfectly, at 4 p.m. on a Friday, when most execs are already at their lake houses. But as I grip my phone, a spark of defiance flickers. Dad always said business is about people, not just profits. Maybe this isn't over yet. Driving home through Atlanta's Friday traffic, I can't shake the feeling that I should have seen this coming. SecureNet wasn't the same company I joined 5 years ago. Back then, it was a scrappy player in cybersecurity, and I thrived in its hustle, turning failing accounts into gold. But 3 months ago, Richard Hayes took over as CEO, bringing Paul Brooks as his right-hand man. The vibe shifted overnight. The annual sales retreat in the Blue Ridge Mountains? Cancelled. The commission structure I'd relied on? Streamlined into payouts that mysteriously shrink. And then there was the push to hand over my client relationships to the account management team, as if my years of trust building could be swapped out like a cheap part. Edward had seen it clearly. Over barbecue at a midtown spot last month, he leaned in, voice low. They're replacing us with new grads, Luna. Half the salary, none of the experience. It's all about the bottom line now. I'd laughed it off, sipping my sweet tea, confident my Apex deal, $2 million in revenue, made me untouchable. But as I pull into my condo's parking lot, I realize I ignored the red flags, the hushed meetings, the way Paul stopped making eye contact, the rumors of maximizing shareholder value. Corporate jargon for screwing over people like me. I think of Dad, who worked 35 years at the same auto shop, earning respect through every fixed engine and honest handshake. He'd tell me loyalty was a two-way street. But today's tech world isn't his world. It rewards people like Paul, who see employees as numbers to cut, not partners to value. I sit in my car, the engine ticking as it cools, and call Mia. Hey, big sis, she chirps, her voice bright despite her late-night study sessions. How's my favorite deal closer? I force a laugh, unable to tell her I've been fired. Not yet. Just keeping Atlanta safe from hackers, I say. How's nursing school? Kicking my butt, but I'm passing, she replies. Thanks to you, I don't have to worry about tuition. My throat tightens. I'd promised her I'd handle it, and now that promise feels like it's slipping through my fingers. I scroll through my phone, landing on David's text again. Our weekly dinners during the Apex negotiations became a ritual, grits and shrimp at a local spot, talking about his kids' soccer games or my dream of starting a consultancy to help young women break into tech. David valued my honesty, my hustle. Maybe that's my way forward. Paul thought he could erase me from the equation, but he forgot one thing. In this game, relationships are the real currency. I sit in my car, the Atlanta skyline glowing in the distance, and stare at David Carter's text. Dinner still on for Thursday? My fingers hover over my phone, heart pounding like I'm about to jump off a cliff. I've never been one to beg or play the victim, but Paul's betrayal has left me raw, and I need to act. Dad's voice echoes in my head. People do business with people, Build trust, and you'll always have options. David and I built that trust over 9 months, sharing stories about our families, laughing over sweet tea about Georgia's humid summers. He's not just a client, he's someone who believes in me. I take a deep breath and hit call. Luna. David's warm Savannah drawl fills the line. Just thinking about you. Thursday's still good. Absolutely, I say, keeping my voice steady. But, David, there's something we need to talk about. I pause, choosing my words carefully. This isn't about revenge, it's about honesty. I've got 3 months of severance to cover my bills, but without that commission, Mia's tuition and my mortgage are at risk. David's the only one who can shift the tide, but I won't manipulate him. He deserves the truth. Thursday evening, I pull up to the Southern Grill, a cozy Atlanta steakhouse where David and I sealed the Apex deal 2 weeks ago. The smell of grilled meat and cornbread hits me as I step inside, but my stomach's too knotted to care. I arrive early, picking a quiet corner table and ordering David's favorite bourbon. When he walks in, his easy smile fades as he reads my face. "What's going on, Luna?" he asks, sliding into the booth. I take a sip of water, steadying myself, and tell him everything: Paul's reorganization, the timing of my firing, the commission I was owed. I keep it factual, no tears, no drama, just the raw truth of how SecureNet discarded me after I delivered their biggest deal. David's jaw tightens, his eyes narrowing. "That's low," he says, setting his glass down hard. "It's not just business, it's betrayal." I nod, my throat tight. "I thought so too. But I didn't want you hearing it from anyone else." He leans back, processing. "You know, Luna, we signed with SecureNet because of you. Your work, your integrity. That mattered to us." My heart lifts, but I don't push. Instead, I mention, almost casually, Nexus Cyber's been after me for a while. They've got a strong product, and I'm considering joining them. David's eyes light up, and I see the gears turning. Maybe this call was the first step to turning Paul's game against him. David leans forward, his bourbon untouched, eyes locked on mine. "Nexus Cyber, huh?" he says, a hint of a smile breaking through. "Their tech's got a reputation. Better than SecureNet's in some ways." I nod, feeling a flicker of hope. Their solutions are more flexible, longer warranties. I think they'd fit Apex's needs. I don't push, but I see David's mind working, weighing trust against contracts. He taps the table. "Our deal with SecureNet has a 14-day rescission clause. We reviewed it, remember?" I do. Every word of that contract is burned into my brain. "I'd never ask you to pull it," I say softly. "That's your call." He nods, then pulls out his phone. "Lisa," he says to his legal counsel, "pull the SecureNet contract. I want to invoke rescission tomorrow morning." My breath catches, but I keep my face neutral. This isn't victory yet, just a chance. The next day, I'm at Nexus Cyber's sleek Atlanta headquarters, nerves buzzing like a live wire. Claire Morgan, their CEO, greets me with a firm handshake and a warm smile. "Luna, we've wanted you for years," she says, leading me to a conference room with a view of Peachtree Street. Claire's a legend in Atlanta's tech scene, a woman who built Nexus from a startup to a powerhouse despite skeptics. She gets what it's like to fight for your place, and I feel an instant connection. "I'm ready to make a difference," I tell her, meaning every word. My dad taught me to bet on myself, and with Mia's future on the line, I can't afford to hesitate. Over the next 2 days, I dive into Nexus's product line, working with their engineers to craft a pitch for Apex. Their cybersecurity suite is cutting-edge, customizable, with better encryption and a dedicated support team. I tailor every detail to David's needs, from integration with Apex's cloud systems to cost savings over SecureNet's clunky setup. This could be a $3 million deal, maybe more, and the commission would secure Mia's tuition and give me breathing room. But as I finalize the proposal, doubt creeps in. Paul's betrayal taught me nothing certain. What if SecureNet fights back? What if David's loyalty to our relationship isn't enough? I push the thoughts aside, channeling my energy into the pitch. This is my shot to rewrite my story, and I'm not letting fear stop me. My phone won't stop buzzing. By Monday morning, I've got 6 voicemails from Paul, his voice shifting from smug to frantic. "Luna, we need to talk," he says in the first. By the 4th, "This is a misunderstanding. Let's discuss bringing you back." I let them pile up unanswered. Laura texts me from SecureNet. "Office is a mess. Paul's sweating bullets since Apex pulled the contract." I smile, but it's bittersweet. I don't want revenge, I want justice. Paul thought he could erase me, but David's call to cancel the deal proves relationships matter more than his corporate games. When I finally answer Paul's 7th call, his tone is all fake charm. "Luna, We've reconsidered the reorganization. Same role, better pay. What do you say? I almost laugh at how transparent he is. I've accepted a position with Nexus Cyber, I reply, keeping my voice light. I start today. Silence. Then Nexus? Your non-compete. I cut him off. Doesn't apply when I was fired without cause. Check page 5, paragraph 2 of my contract. I'd reviewed it with a lawyer friend over the weekend, just to be sure. Paul sputters, you told David something, didn't you? Apex's cancellation is tanking our quarter. I stay calm. I told him the truth, Paul. That's all. I hang up, my hands shaking, but my resolve firm. Dad always said honesty was your best weapon, and I'm starting to believe him. At Nexus, Claire pulls me into a strategy session. Apex's cancellation has SecureNet scrambling, she says, her eyes sharp. We've got a window to lock in David's business. I nod, showing her the proposal I've built, every feature aligned with Apex's goals, from seamless integration to a pricing model that undercuts SecureNet without sacrificing quality. Claire grins. This is why I hired you, Luna. As we refine the pitch, I feel a surge of purpose. This isn't just about proving Paul wrong, it's about building something better for me, for Mia, for the clients who trust me. But as Thursday's meeting with David approaches, I know SecureNet won't go down without a fight. I just don't know how dirty they'll play. Thursday morning, my phone pings with a text from Edward, sent from Laura's phone. Urgent, Paul's meeting David today, offering 25% discount plus free support. My stomach lurches. SecureNet's making a desperate play to keep Apex, and Paul's not above slashing prices to undercut us. I show the message to Claire as we head to Apex's headquarters in Savannah. Can we get there early? I ask, my voice tight. She nods, her face grim. Let's move. The drive feels endless, Atlanta's skyscrapers fading into Georgia's coastal flats. I run through my pitch in my head, picturing Dad's proud smile. He'd tell me to stay focused, to trust my work. But Paul's move has me rattled. Will David fall for SecureNet's cheap tactics? At Apex's sleek office, the receptionist guides us to a conference room. My heart stops when I see Paul and Richard Hayes already there, Paul smirking like he's got the upper hand. David stands, his smile warm but guarded. Luna, good to see you. I invited both teams to present. I want all the facts. My chest tightens. This isn't the private meeting I expected. Claire introduces our Nexus team, her confidence steadying me. Paul's smug grin falters as I shake David's hand, my resolve hardening. This is my moment, and I won't let him steal it again. Paul goes first, pitching SecureNet's slashed prices, free training, and extended warranties. It's a fire sale, desperate and sloppy, and I catch David's team exchanging skeptical glances. Then it's my turn. I walk them through Nexus's solution, custom encryption for Apex's cloud systems, a dedicated support team, and a price that's competitive but sustainable. I look David in the eye, remembering our talks about trust and family. This isn't just a product, I say. It's a partnership built to last. David nods, his expression unreadable, and I feel a mix of hope and dread. Paul's watching me like a hawk, but I'm not playing his game. I'm playing mine. The conference room feels like a pressure cooker as David thanks both teams. This has been eye-opening, he says, his Savannah drawl calm but firm. I'll need to consult my team before deciding. My heart's pounding, but I keep my face composed, shaking his hand. Outside, in Apex's parking lot, Paul corners me, his face red. You think you can just walk away with this? He hisses. You're out of your league, Luna. I hold his gaze, my voice steady. You fired me to dodge my commission, Paul. I'm just doing my job now. May the best solution win. He storms off, and I feel a strange calm. I've said my piece, and the rest is up to David. Back at Nexus, Claire's optimistic. You nailed it, Luna. David was engaged, asking real questions during our pitch. SecureNet's was all flash, no substance. I nod, but doubt gnaws at me. David's thorough. He won't be swayed by charm alone. 2 days drag by, each hour heavier than the last. I distract myself by helping Mia with her nursing school applications, her excitement a reminder of why I'm fighting. On Friday afternoon, my phone rings, David's number. My hands shake as I answer. Luna, can you come to my office at 4 p.m.? He says, giving nothing away. I agree, my mind racing. Did Paul's discounts win? Or did our trust carry the day? At Apex, I'm ushered to David's office, no SecureNet team in sight. He greets me with a smile, his team gathered around a conference table. Walk us through how Nexus's system integrates with our cloud, he says. For an hour, I dive into the details, encryption protocols, scalability, support timelines, fielding questions from his engineers. When we finish, David stands, extending his hand. We're going with Nexus. The contract's being drafted now. Relief floods me, followed by a quiet pride. You won't regret it, I say. Our product's the best fit, and we're here for the long haul. David nods. It's not just the tech, Luna. It's about working with people I trust. As I leave, I feel lighter than I have in weeks. Paul's game is over and mine's just beginning. A month later, I'm in my new office at Nexus Cyber, a corner space with a view of Atlanta's skyline. The Apex contract finalized at $3 million, with room to grow, and my commission check arrived last week, enough to cover Mia's tuition and my mortgage, with some left to save for my consultancy dream. I lean back, staring at the signed contract, feeling a mix of relief and quiet triumph. This isn't about gloating. It's about knowing I bet on myself and won. Laura texts me updates from SecureNet. Paul's on leave, investigation pending. 2 reps quit. The company's stock dipped 10% after Apex's cancellation, and the fallout's spreading. I think of Dad, how he'd smile at this, his mechanic's hands clapping my shoulder. You did it right, he'd say. I've been able to move Mia to a better apartment near her college, and her latest call, gushing about her clinical rotations, makes every late night worth it. At Nexus, Claire's given me a team to lead, and we're already pitching to new clients drawn by the Apex deal's buzz. SecureNet's loss isn't just financial, it's their reputation. David's legal counsel emailed me a note David sent his team. Nexus won because they value talent and integrity. SecureNet's choice to fire Luna showed their true colors. I pin it to my wall, not as a trophy, but as a reminder of what matters. That afternoon, Claire stops by. Heard from Carter Industries, she says, grinning. They're rethinking their SecureNet contract after hearing about Apex. Want to lead the pitch? I nod, my confidence growing. Carter's a $1.5 million account, and word of SecureNet's misstep is spreading like wildfire. I'm not tearing them down, they did that themselves. I'm just building my future, one honest deal at a time. 6 months later, I'm standing at a podium in Atlanta's convention center, accepting the Cybersecurity Sales Leader of the Year award. The crowd's a sea of industry faces, including Richard Hayes, who gives a strained nod from the back. My speech is short, focused on trust and partnerships, not SecureNet's betrayal. I don't need to mention it, everyone knows the story. Carter Industries signed with Nexus, followed by 2 other SecureNet clients, boosting our market share by 18%. SecureNet's bleeding, with Richard stepping down as CEO and layoffs hitting the headlines. My life's transformed. I'm Nexus's Director of Strategic Accounts, leading a team of 10, with equity in a company that values my voice. Mia's thriving in nursing school, her latest exam scores the best yet, and I've paid for her to study abroad next summer. Edward landed a director role at Pinnacle Tech, and over coffee last week, he laughed. Paul did us a favor, His screw-up opened every door. He's right. Paul's lesson wasn't about betrayal, it was about resilience. I didn't destroy him, he unraveled himself by treating people like pawns. My victory is in rising, not in his fall. I visit Mia at her new apartment, her textbooks scattered across the table. Dad would be proud, she says, hugging me. You're proof hard work pays off. I smile, thinking of his words about loyalty. The tech world's ruthless, but integrity still wins. That evening, I get a text from David, implementation's flawless. Dinner next week? I reply, first round's on me. As I drive home, Atlanta's lights sparkling, I feel grounded. Paul thought he could break me, but he only made me stronger. In business, in life, it's not what you say, it's what you do when you think no one's watching. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you. You've walked with me through betrayal, battles, and breakthroughs. If my story hit home, hit that subscribe button and join us. Every deal I close, every hurdle I clear, is a story of grit, heart, and starting over. Keep building your own path, and I'll meet you at the top.